Thank you, thank you. You said more money, right? That's what we're going to talk about. Now, I got to tell you how I ended up here, because this is an interesting story. We got a lead in one day from Willem, and it said that he had met me in Riviera Maya, Mexico, and he was from South Africa, and he's living in Austin, Texas. And I remember my team coming in, and they were saying, hey, this guy wants you to speak in Orlando at this event, and he met you in Riviera Maya, Mexico at the 10X event. And I'm like, I don't remember meeting him. Maybe it was the margaritas. I'm not real sure, right? And I'm like, I just don't remember him. And then he sent a picture in of me giving him a big hug, right? So I knew I did meet him. So tonight I want to talk to you about how to build your business, how to expand your business, how to grow your business. Now, for many years, about a decade, I spent as a head women's basketball coach. And here's what's interesting, because many of you brought your kids tonight. How many of you have ever looked at your kids and told them they had more potential? Right? Now, for years, for a decade, as a high school women's basketball coach, mamas and daddies would bring their daughters to me, and they all said the same thing. They would say, Coach, my daughter has a lot of what? What do you think they said? Potential. Every now and then they said issues, and they were exactly right about that, right? But they would say, my daughter has a lot of potential. She just needs something. What do you think they said she needed? Courage. What's a big one? We're going to come back to that one. What else? Guidance, discipline, motivation, structure, accountability. Okay, now I want you to remember that, because I would say thank goodness you brought your daughter to us, because we're going to give her all of those things, right? Well, around 25 years old, I sat down on a beach in Destin, Florida, and I wrote a book called Changing Lives Through Coaching, because I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. And when I wrote that book, big companies began to call me, and they began to all say the same thing. Coach, we got a lot of good people, and they got a lot of what? What do you think they said? No issues. Y'all got to pay attention here, right? No, they said they got a lot of potential. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because potential is just kinetic energy that's stored until utilized. I don't think we can reach our own potential. I think we need the help of another person to drive our own potential. And so tonight we're going to talk about 3 or 4 areas that can help you really expand your business, because I'm coaching hundreds and hundreds of people right now in the business world, and I can tell you where they're losing money. People are always more motivated by what they'll lose than what they'll gain. And right now, when you think about your particular business, there's 3 or 4 areas I think we're losing money, okay? And I'm going to go through those, because if you just fix these 3 or 4 areas, you're going to make and keep a lot more money. Now, remember this, when it comes to selling, money only changes hands one time: when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people will pay to solve it. So you can wake up every day and fish for bluegill in the local lake, or you can fish for blue marlin in the Gulf of Mexico. You understand what I'm saying? So you can solve big problems for big money. I want you really thinking about this, because I'm trying to get you in an offensive mindset. Or you can solve small problems, what I call bluegills. You can fish for bluegills, or you can fish for blue marlins. So every day when you wake up, you're going out there to solve a problem. And the first thing we got to do is we got to figure out what the problem is. So I want to give you 3 or 4 areas I think people are losing money. Number one, and we talked about this in the video that Tony and I did. How do you hold your value when other people are undercutting you in pricing? Because this is really, really critical. When people go out and undercut you in pricing, the market considers it a commodity, which means they believe they can get it anywhere. And if they believe they can get it anywhere, they will always go to the cheapest person. So the way you overcome the commodity is you learn how to really hold your value by explaining your services in a certain way. For example, we teach people how to explain their services like this. We always start with what we believe versus what we do. So I want you thinking about that right now. People do business with other people that believe the same things they do. Okay? So first you got to know what it is you believe. Because of that belief, you got to get clear on this is what we do. This is how we do it different than everybody else that's out there. This is everybody we're doing it for, right? And if we could do this for you just like we've done it for everybody else, what in the world will stop us from doing business with each other? Money changes hands when? One time when? When problems are solved. So selling becomes easy We go out and we look for problems. Now, when they call in, they say, well, I could get it cheaper down the road, or I could get it cheaper with somebody else. Well, let me tell you what it is we believe. Let me tell you why we believe it. Let me tell you what it is we do. Let me tell you how we do it different than everybody else. And I could understand why you'd want to get it cheaper, but you can't get us. I always say you can dine on 99-cent hamburgers or filet mignon steak, but you always get what you pay for, right? So holding your value is first starting by you understanding what your value is. So instead of lowering the value, instead of lowering the price, increase the value. And the way you increase the value is you show them the incredible value of a reliable, dependable person who's going to show up early, who's going to deliver the goods, who's going to follow up after the experience. And every person in this room will pay more money for that type of service. Wouldn't you agree? So if you're getting into a price war, this is up to you to show what it is you create and how you create this value. So the first place I think people are losing money is in how they explain what it is they do. So if I were to walk around tonight and ask, and I've been asking you, what do you do? This is the number one question you're going to get asked when you meet a new person, right? What do you do? Instead of telling me what you do, what you should say is, let me tell you what I believe. And let me tell you why I believe it. And let me tell you what our company does. Let me tell you all the ways we do it different than everybody else. Let me tell you everybody we're doing it for. And if we could do this for you, like we're doing it for all these other people, what would stop us from getting started? Okay? Now, second place I think we're all losing money is in how we attack a week. Now, when I was a high school basketball coach, let me tell you what I had a rule of. I wanted to get the ball to the midline in less than 2.3 seconds. Now, let me tell you why I wanted to do that. If I could get the ball to the midline in 2.3 seconds, I was constantly on offense. I was constantly pushing. I was constantly moving. And so in the second half, many of the teams we're playing against would retreat. They're constantly retreating. We would wear them down. And then I got into the business world and I saw that most people operate from a defensive posture, which means they don't have enough strategies to go out and get customers. They're not working multiple things. So what I like to do is I like to show people my planner. Because if you're going to get in an offensive mindset, we got to get you thinking about how you come into the day. So what I do every day is I make up my mind the night before exactly what I'm going to be attacking. Every day we need to be doing 4 things if we're going to grow our business. Number 1, we need to be calling on new business every day. Could you do 3 to 5 things every day to get new business? How many people would do that? You got to be calling on new money every single day. The second thing you need to be doing every day is you need to be calling on people who have indicated interest in your services. And how many touches do we need to go? 7 to 15 touches. Because that's what it takes 80% of the time to convert a prospect to a client. You also need to be spending time with your current clients. Now, let me tell you about an experience I had with someone that does exactly what you do. We were going to have a big birthday party for my daughter. We're going to have inflatables. We called up to a company. Listen, 67% of people use the very first person they contact. They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one. They use the first one. So we call a company. We use them. They come out. They call before. They deliver the goods. We bounce around in the bouncy house. Everybody loves the bouncy house. They come get the bouncy house. And guess what? We never heard from them again. See, my daughter was only 3 years old when we did the bouncy house. You think we might have done that at 4? You think we might have done it at 5? You think we might have done it at 6? You think we might have told friends? What about all the other friends that were there? Nobody ever followed up. So I don't look in terms of 1. What I want you to do is start thinking in terms of how do I get 5, 6, 7. How many of you believe every day at your current job is an interview for your next job? Every day with your current customer is an interview for your next customer, right? So I want you thinking, when you leave here, every day you need to be calling on new business, every day. 5 days a week, 6 days a week, as many days as you're working, you need to be calling on. Because what will happen is you'll get so busy running your business that you're not calling on new business. Every day you need to be trying to close people that have indicated interest in your services. How many touches are we going to go? 7 to 15 touches. Because that's how many times it takes 80% of the time. Every day we need to be loving on our current customers, spending time with them, because I believe there is 3 to 5 referrals. Wouldn't you agree? And every day we need to be calling on our biggest customers. So let me ask it to you this way. What is the largest check you have ever cashed in your life? And where did it start? And where did it come from? And how did it originate? And why haven't you gone back there and got some more of those? Because like gravitates toward like. Association breeds assimilation. I want you thinking right now, referability is when great people go tell other great people how great you were. Now here's what I know. When I say like gravitates toward like, your best customers are the ticket to your next customers because they talk, they communicate with each other. Now I want you to think about that. So why are we not going back there? See, we go out and sell like this. And we have a wide front door. What we should be doing is going, who would write us the biggest check for our services? And where do those people go? And how do I get in front of them? And how do I close them? So when you're thinking about where we're losing money, hey, we're losing money in how we explain our services. We're losing money because we're not attacking a day. Every day you need to be doing 3 to 5 things to get new customers. Every day we need to be following up. Every day we need to be loving on new customers. And every day we need to be spending time with our biggest customers. Imagine 25 people sending you 3 referrals a year. 75 new opportunities every single year out of just 25 people. See, what we're doing now, guys, is we're getting focus. Now we're playing offense. Now we're playing offense. So there's 3 things Tony asked me to talk about. 1, how do you hold your value? You hold your value in how you explain your services. And the next time somebody wants to undercut you on pricing, instead of lowering the price, I want you to increase the value. Instead of lowering your price, I want you to increase the value. Oh, I'll tell you what else we could do. Not only could we do this, but we could also do this, this, and this. He wanted me to talk about following up. He wanted me to talk about follow-up. Follow-up, we're going to go 7 to 15 times, but here's the problem with the follow-up. And I wrote a book on this called $1 Million Follow-Up. If you told me 80% of the time it's going to take 7 touches, there are different types of touches, which means there are linear touches, which means I come right at you and ask you for the sale. Have you seen enough to take action? Have you seen enough to make a decision? That's a linear touch. But not every person wants you to come back at them like that over and over and over. So what I do is I use non-linear touches, which means this. I come at Ashley and I say, have you seen enough to make a decision? She says, no, I haven't seen enough, okay? So then I come in here and I say, well, let me show you what I did last week with this person. And they really enjoyed it. And then I say, well, hey, what if I had that person call you and tell you how great it was? And then I go back and I say, well, let me show you 3 things we did over here. These are non-linear touches. Because I want Ashley to come to her own conclusion that she needs us because we're that professional. Most people are going 2 touches and they give up. How many referrals do you think we should be getting out of our current clients? Most people say 3 to 5.7. So what happens after your sale right now? How often are you involved in their life? How many times do you go back to them? How many times do you call and say, hey, do you have anybody else we could work with? If this was valuable for you, who else could this be valuable for? Right? So the follow-up is not only before the sale, I raised my hand and said I'm interested. The follow-up is after the sale, because after the sale is where I get the referrals. Everybody with me here? So how many people think they could do a better job in one of those 2 areas? Before the sale, 7 touches, right? Linear, non-linear. After the sale, following back up and staying in their life. Now, how do we ask for a referral? A referral is when great people tell other great people how great you are. So I go to Willem and I say, Willem, was this valuable for you? And he says, yes, right? Don't look so serious, Willem. You scare me, brother. So I go to Willem and I say, hey, was this valuable for you? And he says, oh, yes, it was incredibly valuable. Who else do we need to be helping, Willem? You see how easy that was? When's the best time to ask for a referral?
Right away.
Right in the middle of the sale and at the moment that they're tickled to death. See, if you live with anybody long enough, you'll find something you don't like about them, right? So here's the deal. The best time to ask for a referral is in the beginning. And always remember this. If we acted at the beginning, at the end of a relationship like we acted at the beginning, there would never be and end. So the best time to ask for a referral is right during the sale. Hey, Willem, if it's been good for you and we treated you good, who else do we need to be helping? And the moment that we are servicing them, we need to be asking for referrals. Because he may say, oh, call this person, call this person, call this person. So the follow-up, the fortune really is in the follow-up. How many people think they're losing money after the sale? Because they're not staying involved in their life enough. So when you leave here, I want you to really get focused, because look at where you're losing money. Losing money by dropping price versus increasing value. Losing money by not following up when a person says, I'm interested. Losing money after the sale, okay? And so these are three big places that we're all losing money. Now, Tony also asked me to talk about hiring great employees. Now, let me tell you why this is critical. Number one, do you believe there's good employees out there in the world? 7.5 billion people on planet Earth. Surely to goodness we can find 4 or 5 that are pretty good, right? So when you think about this, you've got to make up your mind that to attract other people, we must become attractive. To attract other people, we must be attractive for good people to come and work with. Everybody follow me here? And that's by the energy that we put out to the market. So routinely in a given week, we attract X number of people that want to come work with us. And they say, hey, I'm in a static environment. Now think about this, because we're only in 1 of 3 states. Dynamic, static, entropic. We are on fire, engaged, excited, enthusiastic, and people are attracted to that. They're attracted to dynamic people. Or we're static. Give me some words for static. Boring. Stuck. In a rut. Complacent. And you know what the word complacent means? Gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. Nobody sends their kids off in the morning to school and says, hey, sweetheart, why don't you go gradually settle to a place of mediocrity, right? Well, here's the problem. Sometimes we're running static work environments and we're like, why can't we get any good people? Why aren't anybody attracted to come work with us? People want to be engaged with dynamic leaders. They want to be around people that are moving and going places and exerting force and creating energy and becoming people of interest. That's what people want to be a part of. So you got to ask, if you're attracting workers that are not that strong, you got to ask yourself this question: what kind of energy are we putting out to the market? Are we putting out dynamic energy? Are we putting out static energy? Are we putting out entropic energy? To attract other people, we must become attractive. So how attractive is it to come work with you every single day? Now, let me ask you this question. When you start thinking about this concept of where we're losing money and where we're losing momentum, momentum is just energy headed in a direction. It is either positive energy or it's negative energy. How many people have been on the wrong side of momentum before? Okay? See, right now is one of the best times in the world to be building momentum. Pushing across the finish line. Building momentum for January. Starting off the new year on fire. So if I were coaching you, here's what I would tell you. And I want you thinking about this going into 2018. Number one, do you have a dominant focus? Dominant focus is a single, tangible outcome you would like to drive in a 12-month cycle as measured in 30-day windows. Single, tangible outcome. So if I were coaching you, I'd say, what is the number you want to hit? I want to hit $1 million. I want to hit $2 million. I want to hit $3 million. I want to hit $10 million. Now, we're going to take that number and we're going to backtrack it into 30-day cycles. And we're going to measure that number. So if you tell me I want to drive $1 million, that means we need to sell $83,333 a month. We need to hit that number 12 straight times. And every month we're measuring ourselves versus that number. Every month we're measuring where we are in relationship to our number. See, you got to run it like a business like this. Top line revenue, expenses, money out, taxes, paying yourself. And how do I know if it's a successful business? Is that you're generating excess cash that is giving you ability to reinvest in something in the future. So we start with our dominant focus and we work backward from that number. And what are we doing? We're using our strategies every single week to go out there and drive new business. Because there's 4 things we're calling on, right? New business, pipeline business, right? Current customers, our best customers. So think about this strategy. What if you had, how many people have at least 25 big clients that they think could bring them more referrals? How many people have that? 25. Let's say you have 500 customers. Let's say you go back and you narrow that list out to 25. And you say, out of these 25 people, they have the highest ability to refer me. I'm going to stay at the top of their mind. So my strategy every week is to see 3 of those people a week. Every week, 25 people. And here's what happens. Those 25 people create 75 referrals over the course of our lifetime. Here's the best part. Your best clients don't send you crappy referrals, do they? Think of a referral as when great people are telling other great people how great you were. You don't want crappy people telling other crappy people how great you were. You want great people telling other great people. So when you're doing these things, guess what you're doing? I'm moving you from a defensive mindset to an offensive mobility. I'm moving you from defense to offense, okay? Now, based on what I said tonight, where's some areas you're going to go back and work on your business? What about you right here? Who said I wanted more money?
Sales.
All right, what are you going to do in sales to go back and do it?
I'm going to reach out and touch.
Now, you told me you was on a 2-week vacation, though. Is that right?
Yeah.
She told me she's on a 2-week vacation, but now she's motivated. She's going to go back and get started, all right?
I'll have my best person on it.
All right, she's going to have her best person on it. All right, what about you? What are you going to do?
More interactive follow-up.
Okay, good. He said more interactive follow-up. So after the sale, he's going to go back. He's going to follow up more. How many times do we need to follow up?
5 to 7.
Day of, 2 days after, 2 weeks after, 2 months after. Stay in their face and stay in their life. What about you? What are we going to do as a result of tonight?
Follow up with clients.
Follow up with clients. Before or after the sale?
Both.
Both. Because are we losing money in those areas? Yes or no? Are we losing money in those areas? Yeah, we're losing lots of money. We don't like to lose money. What about over here? You're smiling. What are you going to do?
I was be ditto with him.
You're going to follow up better?
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to come up. All right, Willem, what about you? Where do you think these folks need the most coaching?
Their employees be more attractive.
Okay, good. Now, when it comes to the employee piece of this, how many people think content cows give more milk? They tell us if you give a cow a name, it produces 6% more milk than a cow without a name. Okay, so when you're thinking about building these employees and becoming more attractive and feeding your sheep, you got to constantly think about, hey, how attractive are we? How dynamic are we? Do people want to work with us? Are they excited to come work for us, right? Because we don't want to turn these people over. We want to constantly grow. And I'm a big believer in pushing your people, challenging your people, extending your people, helping your people grow, but it's got to be an environment that they want to get better in. Now, they tell me over the next couple of days there's going to be thousands of people here. If you don't get an idea from somebody around you, if you don't get an idea about something you can go back and do, it's here. All of the best ideas are here. All of the best people in the world are here. Now all you got to do is come grab it and go get it, right? So let me close with this concept. I believe, number one, I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. If you don't have somebody coaching you, and you don't have a person challenging you, you don't have a person having hard conversations with you, you don't have a person looking at your business every 30 days, you don't have a person saying you got missing structures, then guys, if you're interested in something like that, then I'll be here. Come see me. My team is here. We'll be over here probably having a nice margarita with you. And listen, we can help you play at a much better level. The people we're coaching are typically growing their businesses about 43% in the first year. So you take whatever you're doing, you multiply it by 43%, that's what we're getting our clients. Because we're giving them the coaching they need in a very systematic way. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. I want to say God bless you for having me. Thank you for all the people that have been on the Facebook. And let's do this. Let's make 2018 the biggest year we have ever had. You got it in you. All we got to do is go get it. God bless you guys. Thanks for having me. Hit the music. Get your margarita and let's dance.
Sorry about those cutouts.